Hello there, my brainwashed sons. This is Josh with Heretic coming at you today. Hi, how you doing? My wife and kids are asleep, so I thought I'd come at you because Dandem01 says, I have a question for you. Okay, are you a part of any denomination? If not, how did you become a Christian, or better said, a follower of Christ? That's a very interesting question because I was not always a Christian. I was not raised a Christian. My mother was agnostic and really didn't follow any set denomination. So I was raised in a very... my mom was really phenomenal at debate. And one of the things she taught me was how to find truth. Not because she was spiritual or anything like that, but she loved to argue, and she was phenomenally good at it. So she taught that to me throughout my entire life. It was kind of like trial by fire all day, every day. It was debate, debate, debate. If I couldn't prove my case, I couldn't get anything, even if I was right. So with that skill set, I joined the military. I was getting kicked out of the military, and I got kicked out of the military for selling acid. Yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, make a long story short, I went to a Pentecostal. I went to a Bible study. They kicked me out because I was a drug dealer. Okay, I wasn't at the time, but I was kind of annoyed by that. And then I joined this the Pentecostal church. There was a Pentecostal church, and I went in there, and they're all like ranting and raving, speaking in tongues, going crazy, and it didn't seem right. Now, I never knew my dad, but I knew my dad was a pastor, and I had his number. And so I thought I'd give him a holler. And so I gave him a call, and I asked him, is this biblical? And he said, yes, but they're doing it wrong. And I was like, okay. And he showed me the verses, and he was right. I was like, okay, well, this is the verses. So I went into the church, trying, again, to make a long story short. I ended up dividing the church down the middle. With only like 3 or 4 verses, I kicked the butt of the youth minister, the assistant pastor, and the pastor. I mean, just slicked them, and the entire congregation saw it. It was freaking epic. But anyway, so after that, I was addicted. I was like, oh my gosh, this Bible is awesome. I just destroyed this church from the inside out. Half of them wanted to lynch me. The other half thought I was like right on. This is so cool. So after that, I was like, okay, I'll put this first. So I basically made this prayer to God, and I was like, okay, God, listen. I'll do anything you ask me to. I will sacrifice everything you want me to sacrifice, as long as you promise me one thing. I said, promise me that I will never be like them. And like them, I meant like a normal Christian, hypocritical, carbon copy, following everybody else, not really questioning anything. He said, okay. And so my path, if I'm a Christian, I am a Christian, I'm a follower of Christ, but I have a firm belief that the entirety of Scripture needs to be followed. I use this little analogy. I say, okay, like, let's say there are only 4 verses in the Bible. This is hypothetical, obviously. Let's say there are only 4 verses in the Bible, and let's say that because there's only 4 verses in the Bible, you have, this guy comes up and says, I want to start my own church. He says, well, I want to follow this verse and this verse, but not this verse and this verse, okay? Another guy goes, I want to follow this verse and this verse, but not this verse and this verse, now the church. And the guy goes, I want to follow this church and this verse, but not this verse and this verse. So we keep going throughout, like 24 pure mutations with only 4 verses. And, so, and I asked myself, I'm like, okay, well, why if there's this many churches when you pick and choose, let's say you believed all of it. Let's say you believed every single thing in the Bible. How many churches would there be? There'd be one. Just one church. So I am a follower of Christ. I do believe in the Bible, but you can't pick and choose. And if there's an apparent contradiction, then there's a misunderstanding. And if there's a misunderstanding, you gotta check your doctrine. And so that's what I do. If I make so sure that the Bible doesn't contradict itself, and as soon as it does, I change my doctrine. That's my faith. That's my belief. I guess you could call it a biblical Unitarian, but if you were to classify it, I sometimes classify myself as a Messianic Pentecostal Jehovah's Witness. Messianic Jew, Pentecostal, Jehovah's Witness. So, yeah, I'm a Bible believer. I'm a hardcore Bible super freak of nature. That's what I tell people is my religion. I just believe everything in the Bible, and I don't pick and choose. So anyway, I hope that answered your question. It's a little bit longer than I expected. But anyway, I'm the Heretic, signing out. Peace.